Yawn. Oh, I'm stretching it out. Oh, it's been so long. Yawn. Yawn. Welcome back, everybody, to this amazing D&D stream. We are playing Secrets of Hammerfast. This is our 21st episode, The Winds of Winter, or the Wintry Winds Rise, whichever you prefer. I am Ken Breeze, Burling's Beard, a concierge DM in the New York City area. Check out all my awesome projects at burlingsbeard.com. And as I mentioned, you are watching the Secrets of Hammerfast D&D stream. Welcome back. Oh my god, you guys, we're here. We made it back. It's a new year. It's 2018 and we're back from our holiday hiatus. I hope everyone had a great holiday. And we're ready to just play some D&D and jump right into it. But before we do, let me reintroduce our amazing players. As you can see, their character illustrations are sort of above their game avatars. Up first, to my right, we have Kelsey playing Callie. Hi, Kelsey. Welcome back, man.
Hey, cool. I'm glad we're back. I missed you guys.
Oh, missed you too, right? And what can you tell us about Callie? Oh man, so much to talk about. But give us the elevator speech.
Yes, so Callie is a halfling rogue. She was an orphan in Orphan Town as a young halfling child
Yep.
and kind of made her way up in the streets there. She uses playing cards as one of her primary weapons. She throws them, and so she learned a lot of street tricks and things growing up, and she can wing those things like crazy. And she has a familiar because she dabbles in the arcane and was able to summon or bind Rimpleton the pig. He's a teacup pig to be her familiar. So you can see him. He's up there.
He's up there. Yeah, Callie and Rimpy make a great team, but they're not alone in their adventures in the region of Hammerfast. We have Anthony playing Alaron. Welcome back to the table, Anthony. Great to have you.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Alaron's amazing. What can you tell us about him?
He's a half elf with bronze skin, and he grew up in a monastery in both scholastic training and martial.
Yeah.
Some people have called him a monk, and I'll say sure. That's pretty apt. I mean, he did grow up in a monastery with a bunch of roped figures. Um, Now he's an adventurer. He has levels in fighter, to say plainly. He wears chainmail and some robes and a really nice helmet that's very reflective, with the unicorn on it. He's had some adventures with Callie and Rimpy, and even some with our friend Elio. Let's tell the tale.
Yes.
Still got that big old turtle shell, right?
He,
I do saw the big old turtle shell.
he's got a turtle shell on his back. That's right.
Half
Because
elf, half
he,
turtle.
he is a half elf, the hero on the half shell. And he got that. Well, you should watch our earlier episodes, dear viewers, if you want to find out exactly all of Alaron's backstory. But suffice to say, he is a champion of Klaugi Schildkröte, the dragon turtle of Glimmer Lake. That's a spoiler. But, I guess, or not, I don't know anymore.
It's a spoiler of the past.
It's a spoiler of the past, exactly. And we also have Thomas with us playing Elio. Welcome back, Thomas. Great to have you, man.
Good to be back.
Yeah, we made it. We made it in 2018. We're living in the future.
Yeah, we survived somehow against all
Somehow,
odds.
somehow. But you're playing Elio. What can you tell us about this fabulous adventurer?
Elio is indeed fabulous, for he wields a fabulous power, the power of the sun. Elio is a cleric of just sort of the general healing and life-giving light and burning light of the sun. He is a Genasi who eventually meandered his way over to meet up with the rest of the party via the Feywild and the Summer Court. Came to the material plane to try to reopen a passageway connecting the two realms, and wound up meeting up with Callie and Alaron and a few other friends along the way as they adventured to liberate a sunken castle. Having recently achieved that grand feat, he is now keen to go learn what more he can of the material plane and spread the good news of the sun. Most people know about the sun already. It's a pretty well-known figure, but they don't know how great the sun is. Really, they don't appreciate it properly. And Elio wants to, get out there, do some more adventuring, maybe keep these guys alive, and see what there is to see. He's feeling generally positive about things right now, I'd say.
Indeed, you are all feeling very positive. For you have won basically a great victory recently. Your group is currently in Id Othramel, a elven castle that has risen from the Glimmer Lake. The Glimmer Lake is in the south of the Hammerfast region, and you originally came here to seek a master sage, a dwarf named Glitterdark, who you have also freed and found in this castle. This Fey castle was sunken beneath the waters, but thanks to your great victory, you have been able to bring it back above ground. On our last episode, our Holiday Bridge episode, which you viewers should definitely check out if you haven't had a chance, you were able to raise a force bridge between the castle itself and the far shore. You had taken a rest in the castle to regain your strength, said your farewells, and then the three of you, accompanied by Master Sage Glitterdark, left the castle. You're on your way across the bridge, and you were attacked when you first went out onto the bridge by these ice imps who could shoot magical ice energy at you. They seem like ice gargoyles, and the dark storm clouds that are full of snow and wintry winds have not left. And even though you guys have spent a chilly evening in and night now in the castle known as Id Othramel, you are still a little cold as the morning dawns. You get all your gear together though, and you know that you're going to have to return to the nearby town of Glimmer Peak. Glimmer Peak, nearby to the Glimmer Lake, you have been to before. It is a penal colony. It is where the criminals of Hammerfast are sent to work hard labor, if that is their sentence. And so, while you have been there before, you know it to be a very sort of dreary town, a very, just not a very fun or happy place. But you did make a contact there, a member of the Lore Guild, a man named Coal Striker, who oddly enough was a proprietor of a library tavern, a fusion of drink and wisdom. And so you also remember that you left a companion there, a beautiful white mare, a elven charger, a fey charger. You found out the mount of a elven knight named Baldir, who you believe disappeared many decades ago, but this horse has lingered on, and you brought it into your party when you first were in Hammerfast to the north before coming down this way. Elio, you've been told all this basically, that there's the prison colony and the tavern library, about the mayor, of course. And as you four, with Lord Sage Glitterdark with you, set out across the Force Bridge, it is very chilly. Callie, how are you feeling right now? What's your character's emotional sort of state?
Well, I'm excited we finally got the castle back to where we wanted it, and Callie doesn't really like goodbyes because she doesn't have too many friends to begin with, so it's kind of painful when she has to leave some behind, like Zig. She thought Zig was cool.
Ziganute or Ziganot?
Actually,
Son of
well,
Ziganute.
I think Zig and Newt is cooler than Zig and Not.
Got it.
Definitely.
I
Liked
think
him
most
better.
people probably agree with that.
But I don't know. Callie's used to the cold, so she's just bundling up and bearing with it.
Cool. So she's just sort of hunkering down, more excited for the road ahead. How about for Alaron? What's his sort of general demeanor? His sort of
We've
headspace?
accomplished a lot of great goals that we set out to achieve, and so Alaron is feeling very, very proud. I mean, we're finally going to quest that started all. We finally found Lord Glitterdark, so he's anxious to get back to town, and also anxious to find that horse.
Indeed, the white mare. And Elio, how about you? How are you sort of feeling? What's your general sort of demeanor or emotional state?
I've also been buoyed by our success, but this new development with the storm clouds is definitely, you know, creating some concern. So I'd say determined. There's a lot of work ahead of me. There's a whole world out there I haven't had a chance to see. This is my first time even being above the surface on this whole plane of existence. There's a lot to do, but I can. We got past what we've gotten past already, and we're gonna make it happen. I'm just hoping that the castle is still standing when I come back, because I don't think we had a couple pals left behind there, but I don't entirely trust Zig not watching the place, and you know,
Yes,
it's a big castle.
in your stead, you have left Hari, the half uh, water elemental sorcerer, and you have left Praeturo, sort of a nebbishy elven wizard who once served the castle's court hundreds of years ago before it went underneath the waters as a sort of like an accountant or of
And
like
I,
some
and I
sort.
haven't met this horse, but it seemed like he was maybe this horse's master's boyfriend. I'm not sure.
I think that's
There was
exactly correct. You are 100% correct on that. That indeed Praeturo was romantically involved with Baldir, the horse's master, or horse's rider, as the case may be. That's correct.
right, but Praetura was frozen in a crystal for hundreds of years. So
That's
who knows?
right. And he is the one who really has fed this cold fire, if you will, that's in you. This feeling that this wintry weather in the summertime is very unnatural. And he believed that these creatures that attacked you, these ice imps, the other day, were creatures sent by the Winter Court, the enemy of the Summer Court. And so there is this sort of pall that is on your group as you make your way. Even though you're all very excited for the future and you feel like there's only good things ahead, there, for whatever reason, perhaps it's the snow, you are sort of chilled, and there is definitely a gray pallor over your joy. The dwarf who is with you, Lord Sage Glitterdark, seems unfazed, stolid, very similar to when you first met him. He was fairly unbothered about being sort of trapped underneath the water. He seems to be very much in control of himself, if not always his surroundings. You know that he is a powerful caster of some kind, but you don't believe that he is like a wizard or something like that. He doesn't have a book that he carries. He seems to be more. It's almost as if his expertise is more in like items, like how to activate magical items or things like that. He seems to have a more of a talent for that type of magic. So as you guys are making your way, what's your party marching order?
I stride boldly forward.
Indeed.
I'll go behind you.
I guess I'm in the back then.
Cool. Elio, you and Lord Sage Glitterdark are in the rear as you guys are making your way forward. You were able to take a long rest and gather some rations before you left. You know that it is a few days' journey to the north to Hammerfast, where ostensibly you are heading to return Lord Sage Glitterdark, and so complete your quest to authenticate a dwarven deed, a document that you have. If you guys want to know about that quest, watch our first episode way back when. But anyways, I digress. The party continues through the area, and you can remember that after the sort of the Crystal Bridge, if we can call it that, you as you sort of are stepping back onto dry land for the first time in what feels like forever, you can see that there is in fact a cart track that is noticeable, even though the snow has started to cover things. The cart track, it looks like it is recently used. You guys know that the residents of Glimmer Peak come to the lake to fish and find different materials that they use to create things. So it's not uncommon that there would be this track here. And I believe you even followed the track to the lake originally when you came here so many weeks ago. But yeah, that's what you guys see. What would you like to do?
Which way are these tracks going?
The sort of trail seems to lead further up. You guys are sort of in a more of a depressed area, like almost like a valley. We'll look at another view of the Glimmer Peak itself, the mountain that gives the area, or rather the dwarven settlement, its name, and also gives a name to the nearby Glimmer Lake as well, which reflects the Glimmer Peak so beautifully. And so, yeah, that's sort of what you guys are seeing as you're stepping off onto this dry land. You can see that there is a cart track, like a wagon track trail that leads further up over the hills. You think probably leading towards the town or the penal colony of Glimmer Peak. And then further on north, no doubt, towards other settlements, and finally ending, no doubt, at Hammerfast, the biggest dwarven city in this region.
So, Callie,
Yes.
I think it's about time we are notarized. How about you?
Yeah. It's been so long, I kind of forgot about it.
Been a few weeks, yeah.
A grand request. I have no idea what you're talking about. Lead the way.
Gonna say that, well, we should show Elio the paper.
It's not that interesting, but I'll tell you, Elio, that we were originally set on this quest to get this deed of a mine as just so we could collect some gold. And the only person who could notarize is over here, our dwarven friend. So we came all the way over here just to find him.
You're right. That wasn't that interesting. But thank you for telling me. A
Well, there you
notary.
go.
Really?
Now you know.
The summer court is full of those.
Well, he's not the notary. He's the family of the original owners.
I see.
He sort of, Lord Sage
One
Glitterdark
wields a
sort of
signet ring.
sort of snorts and says, "Aye, we made a deal, and a deal's a deal. You got me out of there, and I'll authenticate your deed. I never thought I'd ever see another Glitterdark mine in my life. All my clan's dead and gone. I'm the only one left. But it warms my heart that you found the Corkscrew Mines, even though it has such a macabre history."
Really?
Well, aye, everyone died there, didn't they?
Apparently not
did?
not the people who recovered the deed.
Apparently not. Good for them.
I get to make the corkscrews. You mine them here? Fascinating.
He's like, no, we. They say that they mine a special shard, crystal, crimsonite.
Black
Oh.
crimson. I
Everyone
well
can
with
make an
my
Arcana
complexion.
check if you would like.
I believe that's some sort of
Is
gate,
said.
isn't it?
Ooh, crimsonite. Sounds important.
I got a 14.
Yeah, history or
Plus
arcana.
0.
History or arcana. It's up to you.
Plus 0 in either case. My intellect
Yay!
is purely average. And I don't know from magic.
But you got it. What you got, Elio? You got a
I got a 14 on the die.
14, not bad. Alaron,
I
how
got a
about
13.
13?
Oh, I'm gonna roll too.
Yeah, you should. It's arcana.
Yeah,
There's
9.
actually a magical one here.
9?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't know what Crimsonite is. It sounds expensive, though.
Sounds red.
Alaron and Elio, you guys know it's a magical reagent. A quite famous one. Rare and famous. Famous for its rarity.
Well, I
Yeah.
bet we'd get rich if we could get some out of there.
Well, that's why these adventurers want to get this deed notarized so they can get their Crimsonite.
Ah, always lining someone else's pockets, aren't we?
I don't know. We found a big old pile of gold in that tower.
Yes.
Like, my pockets are pretty lined right now. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I'm like jingling. I've got so much money on me.
You're
right
like
now.
loaded down with treasure right now, don't you?
Your
Aren't you
pig
guys?
has a crown.
I look
Rimpy is
sharply at
wearing a
Rimpy.
crown.
And I wasn't there, but I get the feeling that the people who got this deed didn't get much else out of the job than the deed.
Sounds like they all died. That's what they got.
Except for the one that got away.
True. But well, I better. Don't you guys think it's kind of too cold right now? I mean, is this not strange? I'm gonna be looking around for more of those ice monsters that we destroyed.
Yeah, you
I
keep
mean,
it. You keep
it
an
is
eye
cold.
out.
I am not. My head is literally on fire, and all this smoke, all the snow is just turning into steam
Yeah,
as it hits me. But
you guys are definitely seeing your breath a little bit. Like it's not freezing right now, but it's definitely cold. It is snowing, so I guess by definition it's freezing. At least up top, further above you, it is freezing. And the snow is sort of sticking on the ground. You can see how it looks in the image, where the snow is sort of gathering in little crooks. That's why you can still see the wagon tracks, and you've been following them. And you've been following them and talking with each other, sort of looking at the different stuff that you've got down in Ulthramel. And that's when you can see the gates of Glimmer Peak ahead.
Ooh.
And the gates of Glimmer Peak were apparently not very well described to you, because they are somewhat impressive. If you guys can see that image, stop it. Indeed. As you can see, there is, yes, indeed, a sort of a axe-wielding warrior has been carved into the mountain, as it were, that leads to this natural sort of, the best way I can put it is a dell, or like a very small valley where there's some vegetation and that sort of stuff inside of it. But there's this sort of natural rock wall that seems that they formed and shaped and then delved through. Last time you were here, you remember there being guards who were on either side of the gate. At this point, you guys see no guards.
Well, that's weird.
Very weird.
Dwarves like guarding stuff.
People who live in towns usually like their towns guarded.
Hmm.
Let's step
Can I like make an insight check to see if something feels off here?
No, you can just know that something feels off, or feel something feels off. You just know it. Like, you don't even, there's no need to make a check. If that's what your character feels, that's what your character feels. So just go with it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there?
It definitely seems odd that there aren't dwarves, or guards rather, guarding this entryway to a penal colony, I guess. But
I'm gonna kind of lean towards the door and just kind of shout down the hallway there. Hello?
Ooh, I kind of wish we had the element of surprise.
so you
I
guys,
never have the element of surprise. I am on fire.
indeed, Elio has basically gotten closer to the door. It's not like you're in the doorway. You're probably a good 30 feet away from it, but you are shouting, trying to sort of get people's attention. And
Yeah,
you don't see
you guys
as it.
can hide if you want.
Yes.
doing.
Is anyone
I'm
hiding
doing
at this
our
point?
normal plan, which is I stride in there, people jump out and attack me, then you jump out and attack them.
I'm hiding for sure.
Cool.
I'm also hiding.
Glitterdark is also taking cover. Not hiding, taking cover. Though yes,
Elio's alone
he
now.
is honorably hiding. He tries to look as distinguished as possible as he hides behind a rock.
We're his bodyguards.
Yeah, I guess that's sort of true.
He won't lower himself to fighting, so he'll just stay in the back there.
Yes, that's sort of the vibe you're getting. Elio, there is no response, either verbal or physical. You see no one, you hear nothing. You smell snow.
Is there any like light in this tunnel?
Yes, the light that you see sort of in the image is definitely a part of the game as well, where you do see it looks like there are lanterns that are set into the walls. It looks like they are actually on like metal hooks that have been threaded through metal eye holes that have been pounded into the stone. It looks very regimented. It looks very dwarven.
Are the lanterns like magic lanterns, or are they like just fire lanterns?
Tough to tell from this distance.
All right. Well, I'm gonna walk in a little further. I'm gonna try to see basically, is this something that looks like it's been maintained recently, or is it something that like
Yeah,
could have just been left on ages ago?
totally. Yeah. What are the rest of you doing? You continuing to hide?
I'm gonna cast invisibility on myself and walk up behind Elio and while invisible, be like, I'm gonna go in and look.
Who's that?
No one. And then I just walk in.
Rimpy is also invisible with you as you guys walk in together. Elio, you can just barely make out the little clops of teacup pig hooves as they strike the stone floor of the tunnel. Especially because there isn't any snow, the tunnel does look like it's very well kept. Alaron, are you doing anything at this point?
Yeah, I'm gonna take out my light crossbow, and I'm going to walk as quietly as possible. Well.
All right, cool. You guys approach. Elio, you can see that it looks like the lanterns in here are fed by oil. They're like almost like kerosene lamps. So you think that they were probably, if they're kept on all the time, you get the sense that they probably have to be replaced every 12 hours, maybe, or so. So it's definitely been recently or so that they've been replaced.
There's no like, it's not like as soon as I walked in the door there's blood everywhere. It's like there's no like crazy signs of a struggle.
No, but Callie, you're the one who sort of rushed in, as it were, and you definitely can see that there's like mud on the ground, like snow mud, like mush, you know, where like people moved through here after being in the snow. Alaron, Elio, Callie, you can all just make investigation or perception checks to look at the tracks.
Natural 1.
Nice.
10.
What'd you get, Alaron?
19 perception.
Nice roll. Yeah, Callie, you're not seeing much here. It looks like a bunch of puddles. Elio, you get the sense that only a small number of people have moved through here. It doesn't look like this has been well trod recently with the snow and the much. Alaron, your keen eyes show you that it looks like 2 people have been making their way backwards and forwards through this tunnel most recently. Someone with medium-sized, like big dwarven boots, and someone definitely with still big boots, but they're small-sized. And you do remember on guard when you came here the last time, there was a burly dwarf and a burly halfling with a beard that looked like the dwarf's little brother.
That's cute. Yes. All right, so the guards... I tell everyone, it seems like the guards went into this tunnel. So.
I'm going to march loudly and janglingly down the hall.
Yeah, you guys continue to approachingly. Glitterdark does sort of come to the sort of entryway and then follows you. The tunnel that you're in is probably about 15 feet wide, enough to have a single cart come through, probably, or two small carts go by each other's sides. But there's definitely a bunch of room in here, and it's stone ground. It even is a little cobbled, and as you guys come through, you can see the streets of Glimmer Peak are cobbled as well. The streets are empty, and the snow is falling on the ground everywhere. It's very cold here, actually. You feel a lot colder as you come out of the warmth and light of the tunnel. There are only a few, small number of lights, lanterns that are still lit against the encroaching sort of darkness of the clouds. Though it is like lunchtime, it's not like it's like it's late at night. You guys basically left. You had a leisurely breakfast and a leisurely walk up here. It's not like you're in any hurry per se, or any, there's nothing wrong. But yeah, it's sort of an odd feeling as you walk in and you realize the streets are empty. They're covered with snow. There are the tracks of the guards that I mentioned. You do see them, Alaron, everyone at this point, sort of going off in a direction. There are a number of other directions. The guards basically go off ahead of you. Their tracks do. You know that the library tavern that you stayed at last time, your contact ally, if you will, Coal Striker, that he is off to the left. And then off to the right, generally, is the very ancient stone tower that predates the penal colony here. The dwarves don't know who built it, but it's super sturdy and ancient, so they made it like their dwelling tower. So all the dwarves basically live in this large tower. There's some tenements around as well, but it's the main dwelling place for families and others. And so you see that sort of hulking over the rest of the very sleepy looking sort of village. All the buildings are made out of stone with a few wooden outbuildings, mostly slate roofs. Again, the snow is covering roofs and the ground. It's very cold here, and that's what you guys see.
And you folks said, I'm trying to talk under my breath, but Elio style. And you folks said that this place was occupied last time you came here, right?
Yeah, a lot.
How long ago was that? Several years?
Weeks?
Weeks? That's not good. And Ken, you said it was much colder here?
Yes, it is. Noticeably, as you come out of the tunnel, it is colder in town.
All right, I'm going to take out my little wand that I found.
Yes.
That detects magic, and say revelations, which is the keyword, and kind of scan around as I walk sort of into the entryway of town and see if there's anything creepy or weird magic-wise going on nearby.
Awesome. Those lanterns that you see that are on, you believe them to be continual light flames. You see that they are a sort of a minor type of magic. You can definitely see that it looks like there are torch sconces with torches that are out. It looks like any actual flame was snuffed in town, everything, but the magical ones were able to stay on. Callie, what are you doing? You're invisible.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm probably leaving tracks in the snow.
That's true.
Well, I'm gonna try to leave as few tracks as possible and maybe look around for any guards patrolling or anything.
Cool. Make a perception check.
Perception.
Alaron, how about you? Anything you're up to?
I think I want to follow the guard's tracks.
Cool.
16.
Yes. Callie, you can make out no guards, no one walking around, but you do hear this very quiet, sort of creepy, scuff. Like someone's moving around silently, trying to move silently around you or something like that. And that scuff comes from your left the direction to your left. Alaron,
I'm gonna freeze.
Yeah, you're invisible. Alaron, you're moving forward, following the tracks. You can see that they lead deeper into the streets of this stone village. You're not sure where they end, but they definitely lead deeper in there. Further away from, at least currently, further away from the tavern library.
Can I spot Callie? Her tracks?
No. She's being super stealthy, super trying not to leave tracks. No, she's invisible, bro. You do not know where she is.
Uh, hmm.
But you
I'm
did
just
hear
gonna.
her sort of sharp intake of breath, I think, like that. And you can sort of see her breath a little bit too, oddly. So you don't know exactly where she is, but you know the general area of where she was the last time you knew where she was.
I use a series of hand gestures
And I
to
guess
signal.
Elio can see you too since he's detecting magic, but you know.
Yeah, a series of hand gestures in the air. I can see, motioning that I'm gonna follow these tracks.
Cool. You're using the thieves' cant that you both know to motion and let her know that you're going to follow the tracks.
All right.
Correct.
I would like to say a quick prayer to the sun.
Yes.
Pray that it would guide my eyes and help me find what is going on here. A quick prayer for guidance. And then I'm going to try to sort of scan the town and see if anything pops out to me as I look around with a perception.
Go ahead and make your perception check.
With guidance, that is a total of 18 perception.
Cool. Yeah. Callie, Alaron, Elio, you all basically something happens. Callie, the scuff that you heard turns into a full-on like someone like running away, basically, or making their way away from your location. Alaron, you hear that too. Elio, the guidance of the sun, it's almost like the clouds clear for a second and there's just a spot on the ground. And as you see that spot, you see a small shadowy figure running away. They seem to be dressed in, it's tough to tell exactly. They seem to be dressed in like a bear cub's like hide or something like that. And the one thing that really sticks out to you is that they have green skin.
Do I have enough time to cast a spell?
No, not before they're out of your sight, as it were. Callie and Alaron and Elio, you all hear the sounds of this running, basically.
Okay, I'm going to take off in the direction I saw it go.
Okay, Elio takes off that way, which is the direction of the library tavern, to your left, as it were. What are you doing, Callie?
So can I see this creature right now?
No, you just heard the running. But
you can probably see me running in a direction.
That's correct.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bolt in that direction. I'm gonna double move and move with my dash.
All right, sweet. Alaron, how about you? What are you doing?
I'm going to take chase too.
Awesome. You guys run after it.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of point my spear towards where I saw it last, try to guide the others.
Glitterdark takes off after you, though he looks a little like he's not one to like sprint around town. So he's sort of almost doing this
I'm
like
not super fast either.
Yeah, he's sort of doing this like more like a sort of jog, as it were,
lordly
coming
saunter.
after you. Yeah, more of a lordly sauntery jog.
Lordly
sort
trot.
Of, yeah, trot. I think that's perfect. He's trotting after you. As you guys take off, basically. And as Callie, you come around basically this corner, you find yourself in a sort of a more of an open area, not a plaza per se, but like a square where a number of different lanes terminate. Alaron, you're on her tail. Elio, you sort of were pointing with your spear and started the chase, but the other two overtake you pretty quickly with their sort of more their speed, rather, since they're so much faster than you are. And so Callie and Alaron, you two rush ahead. Elio and Glitterdark are in the rear as you guys come around the corner, and you see that there are figures standing in the plaza in the snow, almost as if they were waiting for you or something like that. And
It's a trap.
Indeed, that's the sense you get as the creature that you're running after it quickly sort of resolves and stops to turn around, though behind the larger figures that it is with. As you guys can see, there are 4 figures. One of them seems to be a dwarf. who has like this hatchet and looks very much like the image. Has and sort of these sort of glowing reddish eyes. You can see this human with them, the man in the top right, who has this very sunken, sort of polar skeletal sort of figure. He has more almost like these bishop's robes on, like these sort of this bishop's collar. Though his robes are black and like tattered, he seems to be like fingering this sort of like kris that's sort of on his belt. There's obviously the goblin that I mentioned, who's basically just in these like this bear cub's pelt and like holding this bone like shiv for the most part, like that's what it seems like it's holding. And sort of off to their one side is this woman who is like basically dressed in like splint mail. She has two blades that are already drawn, a long sword and a short sword, and they're just out. Like they're just drawn, naked, out. Her head is basically down, like she's not even looking at you guys as you arrive. And as you show up, it's obvious that the dwarf seems to be their leader as he steps forward. And he says, by the name of all that is holy, you are under arrest. You will come with us and see what the gods have in store for you. And yeah, you guys are definitely getting the sense that these people mean business. You also definitely get the sense that maybe they were waiting for you. You don't know. This definitely seems weird that they're just like here, and that's what you guys sort of see.
I step forward. You're not the law here. What are you doing here? Where are the townsfolk?
The dwarf sort of snickers, his sort of coal beard sort of shaking with snow coming off of it, and he says, "They've gone to sleep for the night. Don't worry. All will be well. But you must come with us." And he sort of seems to step forward as well. Ready, obviously menacing. These people seem quite hostile.
I take out my rapier.
You had your light crossbow out, and so you're sort of stowing that and taking out your rapier. Is that
Going
right?
away and taking my blade. That's right.
Callie, you're invisible. Are you doing anything?
I'm not going to drop my invisibility, but I'm going to say no one in the law has ever caught me yet, and I don't think you guys are going to be the first ones to do it.
It's at that point that like the female warrior's sort of head snaps up as she's like looking around for whoever said that. Elio, you come up on this scene with Glitterdark. What are you doing?
So I see this dwarf kind of at the front of the group, menacingly, and the others standing around him.
Yeah.
I don't recognize any of these folks, right? These aren't.
Make an insight check.
All right, that's these numbers again. Sorry, but well, insight. Oh, I'm good at insight. That's a 20.
Well done. You have been told that this is a penal colony. There aren't any town folks on the street. You're getting the sense that these might be escaped prisoners or something like that. Like that. This is bad news. Like these people.
In what kind of configuration are they standing? How close to each other are they?
Right. As I mentioned, the dual-wielding warrior was a little bit off to the side, but the other three are basically adjacent to each other. The skeletal human and the dwarf are standing adjacent to each other. The goblin was behind them, as I mentioned, sort of scurried behind them, and the warrior is probably about 10 feet off to their left.
All right, give me just a second.
Okay.
Looking up something. I haven't done this before.
All right. You come around the corner. You guys see all of them. The dwarf has this just a crazy eyes. They're not even any pupils. They're just glowing, sort of reddish. He has this. Now that you're looking at more of them, they do look really grimy and dirty, like they've been underground or something like that. They look tattered. There's not a lot of good stuff going on. But Callie, can you describe for me one feature that's on the goblin?
Well, I think the goblin probably is really like scratched up and he's got lots of terrible like cuts and scars because he's barely
Yeah.
clothed. His feet are
Yes.
all raw.
Yeah, love it. Raw feet. And how about Alaron? Can you describe for me one characteristic of the warrior?
The female warrior.
Yes.
She has wow. I don't know.
Okay,
Oh
that's
man.
fine. She's just a badass. And Elio, can you describe one characteristic of the dwarf maybe for us?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Can you imagine for us one characteristic of the dwarf that you're seeing in the game that you could describe for us?
I'm gonna say that when he smiles, his sort of crazy grimacing smile, you can see that all of the teeth on the left-hand side of his mouth have been replaced with obsidian teeth.
Yes.
Nice.
Love it.
They probably wouldn't let him have gold or silver, but he got his shiny rocks.
Yes, he did. He got his shiny rocks. Cool. And yeah, you were looking something up? Anything you want to say or
Yeah,
try and do?
I would like to try to catch the three of them that are standing next to each other. Ringed wall of fire.
Cool. We're gonna roll initiative if you're starting to cast a spell. I think that sort
Yeah,
of
that's
kicks off initiative. So let's
Yeah.
all roll.
Ooh yeah.
Ooh yeah. What did you get, Alaron?
I got a 10.
Awesome. And how about for you, Callie?
22.
Oh, you badass. And for you, Elio?
15.
All right. Very good. Cool. Callie, you got a 22, you said?
Yep.
Awesome. You go first. What would you like to do? It's obvious that violence is about to break out. Alaron sort of has just unsheathed his sword, though he doesn't have his shield on currently because he had the. Or do you have your shield on?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you have your shield and your sword out. It's obvious the dwarf is pulling out or has had this sort of like hatchet hand axe in his hand. They're the two swords that the fighter has, as it were, and the bone shiv, and just the skeletal guy has like a knife. But they're wearing basically leather armor or hide armor, except for the dual wielder, who's obviously wearing more of like a splint mail.
Well, it seems like the dwarf's doing all the talking, so he's got a ice dagger flying at him right now.
Awesome. You have advantage on this throw, so you'll get sneak attack if you are successful.
I got a 19.
That's totally a success. How much damage do you do?
Oh, snap. So that's 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 21 damage.
Nicely done. Yeah, the ice dagger goes right into his chest as you appear, basically. And they all sort of start. And he sort of, like coughs, almost falling over as his eyes just go wide with shock. Cool. After anything else you want to do?
Nope, that's it.
So you basically are not exactly side by side with Alaron. You guys are within about 10 feet of each other, but you were in the front, as I mentioned. Elio and Glitterdark are in the back.
Kelly just kind of appears when she throws the dagger.
Exactly, yeah, out of invisible.
That's gotta be shocking.
Yeah, it was. They're all quite shocked. However, the swordswoman rushes you, Callie, sort of dancing, or rather curving around Alaron, moving a little bit more quickly than he had anticipated. Her longsword seeks you, Callie, twice, as she gets an armor class of 16 is her highest, but her short sword flicks out, and she hits an armor class of 25.
That hits.
Indeed it does. As she does 6 points of damage to you, as she basically tries to just slash you with her short sword, or her long sword, and you duck out of the way, and then she sort of cuts down your arm with her short sword. Her face is just sort of passionless, like she doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, and that's her turn. It's the sort of skeletal guy's turn. And he sort of whips out his dagger and looks at you, Elio, and sort of says, "Unbeliever," and raises his hand as it becomes really icy, and this bolt of ice shoots right at you. And you need to make a dexterity saving throw.
My best saving throw.
Indeed.
Oh wow, that is a natural 20.
Whoa, hey, awesome. Yeah, you totally leap to the side as it totally misses you. And he sort of grits his teeth.
Even myself.
He advances, sort of also advancing on Callie, though not getting adjacent to her yet. Sort of keeping his distance, but obviously sort of heading for her. The goblin, though, rushes right at you, Callie, and tries to stab you with his shank. He tries to stab you twice with his shank. And he misses you the first time. But the second time, he's going to hit you with an armor class of 17, right on the money. As you take 4 points of damage. As
4?
Yep, 4. Yep, he just lightly stabs you, but yeah, he's definitely trying to stab you with his shiv.
Yeah.
Indeed. And it is Alaron's turn.
I dance behind the female fighter.
I'm sorry, but did we skip my turn?
We must have. I apologize. Elio, what was your initiative?
I had a 15.
Yep, go ahead.
He definitely got before.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and take your initiative now?
Okay, so the swordswoman and the goblin are up next to Callie.
Yeah, they're adjacent to her.
How far away from them is the skeletal priest man?
He's about 25 feet away from them, just like the dwarf.
Okay, and the dwarf hasn't moved yet, right?
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
Okay.
Hasn't
In
acted.
that case, I would like to try to catch as many of them in a fireball as I can.
Okay.
You can tell me how many that is based on your mental image of the positioning of the area.
Sure. Yeah. You basically can catch all 3 of them and not Alaron, or all 4 of them and Alaron.
Which 3 of them?
It would be the skeletal priest, the goblin, and the dwarf.
Yeah, I'll go for that one.
Cool. You unleash a fucking
priest.
fireball. All right. Boom. The priest counterspells it. And as he does...
What?
Yup.
Jerk.
As he does, you see his eyes glow more of a red, but it's super crazy. Basically what happens is, as he throws out his hand, a sort of a spectral tentacle is sort of unfurls from it and seems to act like this broad, wide shield that protects both him and his compatriots from the flames as they sort of quickly fizzle out, almost like when the snowflakes were hitting your fiery head, the fireball goes out.
I can't do that.
And he laughs.
I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue moving straight towards him after that.
Awesome. Yeah, you
My
rush
spear
him.
out.
Cool. Yeah, you can get right next to him if you would like to.
I'm gonna like kind of stand side by side with Callie and Alaron. I'm not gonna go too far past them.
Cool.
We're just gonna try to.
Do you want to be adjacent to any of the hostiles?
Any of what?
The hostiles, the enemies.
Well, I guess if I'm adjacent to, I guess I'll be on the other side of Callie, so Alaron is kind of flanking her. So I'm probably next to either the goblin or the swordswoman.
The swordswoman probably is the one that you're closest to.
Sure.
Okay, awesome. The crazy ass dwarf goes as he sort of touches himself, sort of spitting this very sort of just alien language, like it's very sort of chthonic and just very foreign, as his wounds begin to close, and he heals himself. Indeed.
I don't like any of this.
I know. And yeah, he definitely seems like he gained back some hit points by doing that. But he, with his axe out, just standing there, he hasn't moved 1 foot. Glitterdark, however, rushes forward and seems to try and stay out of the combat, the melee, but from his leathery sort of robes, he pulls out a flask and throws it right at...
Just takes a drink.
Yeah, right? He takes a sip. No, he throws it right at the dwarf, and it explodes on him in this acid, like this sort of like, just this
Good job,
acid.
Glitterdark.
And the dwarf's like, ah, basically, as he's sort of
I got a
face getting burned and shit like that. Yeah, that's basically what happens there. And it goes right back up to Callie.
I think we skipped Alaron this time.
Oh yeah, sorry, Alaron. You go. Now you go, Alaron.
Okay, I'm gonna dance behind the female fighter,
Definitely.
and I'm going to advantage from here, right? She's-
You unfortunately don't have advantage, but you will do sneak attack since your friend is adjacent to her.
Okay.
Multiple
then-
friends.
Yeah.
I am going to lean into her. The fight you want is with me,
Her eyebrow goes up.
and I feign the first attack. Or I want to with the second. That is an 18.
That is a success.
Oh, sweet. I do 11 damage.
11. First one, sort of. Awesome. With your first attack, you strike her. You do 2 attacks around, right?
First one missed.
First one missed. Got it. Yeah, as you feinted, and then you strike her with the second one. As she definitely turns her attention sort of towards you, Alaron, recognizing a very competent warrior. And now it is Callie's turn.
This looks bad. Well, Callie's gonna make an attack against the same swordswoman because
Yeah.
she and Alaron fight better together.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's the
You
attack.
do have also the goblin that's adjacent to you. But yeah.
Got a 16.
16 is no good, as basically your frost dagger skirts across like the spines, or rather the splints of her armor, her pretty heavy armor that she's wearing. But she seems super strong as she's moving so quickly. But yeah, that's it. Anything else?
I think I'm gonna then disengage and then go around behind her so that at least I'm away from the goblin.
Cool, totally. You're definitely able to maneuver there. It is her turn. She begins to spread her attacks out as she attacks you, Callie, with her longsword, hitting armor class of 19 and doing 7
And then
points
I
of damage to
shield.
you. You shield!
Sure.
And she attacks you, Alaron, missing. And she attacks you again, Alaron, hitting an armor class of 23.
Ooh, she hits.
Yes, indeed. As you take 6 points of damage, as she sort of is doing these sort of like double move fights, and she's able to just sort of scratch across your shoulder very lightly. But she does score a hit, and she continues to almost be in her element as she is dancing and fighting. Elio, it is your turn.
Okay. I will hold up my shield as all these blades are flying around me, and I will look at the opposing cleric in the eye and say, "Counterspell this! You cannot block my faith! Radiance of the dawn!" And I will hold up my shield as rays of lights fly off of my channel divinity powers.
He screams in pain, like, ah! Like,
Yeah,
it is painful for him to see this.
Everyone within 30 feet of me who is an enemy needs to make a fortitude saving throw.
Cool, that is everyone
DC.
here. It is a Constitution save, and what is the modifier?
It is DC,
Or DC, rather?
14.
14. Cool. Yes. Both the goblin and the skeletal human failed, but the other two succeeded.
Okay, so that will be 17 radiant to those that failed, and
Damn, son.
half that, so 8 to those that succeeded.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. You you definitely bloody both the goblin and the skeletal caster guy, the fanatic, if you will, as they both throw up their sort of arms to shield themselves, but their eyes are just burned. Like they're it's almost like their eyes are burned out of their sockets, and you can see this almost like blackish sort of carbon scoring, if you will, on their faces as they're smoking sort of radiance. This damage.
Corrupt souls cannot withstand the light of truth.
And yeah, you definitely get that sense that this fanatic, this skeletal fanatic guy, is like something is very wrong with him. Would you like to move at all, Elio?
No, I think I'm good where I am. I kind of like being in the middle of the fray right now.
Cool. Yeah. The skeletal guy begins to like fall on his knees and start shrieking gibberish, almost like he's trying to convince something of something. Like he's procreating something. He's even like tearing out what little hair he sort of has and like sort of beating his chest. And as he does, a spectral tentacle begins to arise from the snowy, stony ground, and it attacks you, Elio. It hits you, and you take 4 points of damage as it smacks you across the face. Doosh!
Yeah, I barely flinch from that, and I just lock eyes with this crazy man.
The fanatic, his eyes are basically rolled back in his head as he's like summoning this tentacle to sort of attack you guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
I turn and lock eyes with the dwarf since I need someone to pay attention
Yes,
to.
indeed. The dwarf does lock eyes with you.
Just in general, Elio needs somebody to pay attention to.
The dwarf, he does lock eyes with you, and he sort of growls. Awesome. It is the goblin's turn as he attempts to stab you, Alaron. Hitting an armor class of definitely not enough. His bone basically just can't penetrate your armor at all, and he sort of gives up and moves away. And you can make an attack of opportunity on him as he rushes for Callie.
Oh, will do. That's 19.
That's a success. How much damage do you do?
13 damage. Ooh.
Nicely done. Please describe for us how you defeat this creature.
As the creature tries to sneak past me, I just whip my rapier quickly across his throat.
Ah! The goblin falls as the fight continues. And it is your turn, Alaron. What would you like to do?
This fighter needs to fall. I keep swinging at her.
Her face was a little burned, but she was able to throw her arms up in time, so only like her arms were sort of burned.
21 versus AC.
Success.
And a 15.
15 is no good as she blocks with her sword. How much damage do you with your first attack? And you will get sneak attack. Your friends are adjacent to her.
Awesome. Is 15 damage to her.
Wow, nicely done. You bloody her as you cut a very deep gouge sort of in one of her thighs. And she sort of... Go ahead.
Continue my dance, and I slash at her once
again.
Ooh,
action surge! That sucks. No. Sorry, bro. As she sort of... Your whirling dervish dance, it's almost like your rhythm was too staccato and fast for her that she wasn't able to get it. But now after you've dinged her really hard, really hurt her, she's starting to get it and trying to dodge you as best as she can. It is the dwarf's turn, and he seems super pissed off as he locks eyes with you, Elio, and points his hand with the sort of hatchet in between his hands, and out of that hatchet, there's just this red crescent fires right at you. It will hit an armor class of 17, which is your armor class exactly, unfortunately.
I'm going to try a warding flare there.
Oh, okay. Yes, it's a higher, unfortunately, for that one.
Nope.
21.
Did what I could.
Yep, indeed. You do warding flare him as he...
Sorry, me.
As he sort of yells out. He yells out. Yeah, I mean, he yells out. The warden's power cannot be tarnished or beaten. And you take 12 points of damage as you're struck by this crescent of energy. The energy then unfolds and wraps around you like these tentacles, red, sort of crimson-y tentacles, and you are effectively providing advantage to the next person that attacks you, as you have been struck by a guiding bolt. Indeed. And it is Glitterdark's turn. Glitterdark continues to throw this acid at the dwarf, and somehow is able to score another hit on this dwarf with this acid. The dwarf, his face is basically melting at this point. Yeah, that's what's happening there. And it's your turn, Callie.
So the dwarf and the priest are somewhat close to each other?
They're adjacent to each other, yes. And they're 25 feet away from you.
I'm going to disengage with my cunning action, step away from this fight for a second with this woman.
Yeah.
Just like duck away. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to cast a maxed out sleep spell at him and the priest.
Awesome.
Dwarf and the priest. So
Cool.
let's see.
He dispels that. Bloop!
The priest does?
Yeah, he counterspells it.
Now's your chance, Elio.
As you're like, as you rush forward and you're casting your magic and like the mist is coming out that's going to put them to sleep. And he just looks right at you and basically waves his arm, spitting a word of power as again, almost like this spectral tentacle emerges and seems to like soak up the mist that you're casting. And he simply smirks at you.
Well, I'm going to then use my movement to step back into melee with this fighter.
Awesome. You got it. As you do. It is the swordswoman's turn, and she does turn her ire upon you, Callie, attacking you 3 times. The first attack is a critical hit. The second attack is a miss. The third attack is a hit. It is a 18 to hit.
I'll probably just take the attack. I'm not going to use a shield spell.
You got it. Then you're going to be taking a total of 18 damage.
Oh.
I'm going to uncanny dodge her crit.
Yes, cool. Then that's awesome. You uncanny dodge a crit as you sort of spin out of the way of the blade, and you will be taking basically 7 less damage, so 11.
Okay. Ow.
Yeah. I think at that point she disengages, or rather not doesn't disengage, she just runs. Alaron and Callie and Elio, you can all make melee attacks on her if you wish.
Ooh.
I would like to take it.
Yeah.
That's a 6 total. Don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, she
21.
blocks that. 21 is a success.
Do I get to sneak her since it's once per turn?
Sure do.
Ha ha ha. So that was oh gosh, what do I get? So 9, 12, 13, 20 damage.
Oh, and Alaron, what did you get for your attack?
Oh wait, I just cut out.
Yeah, what'd you say, Ken?
Alaron, what did you get for your attack?
Oh, I missed. I got
You
a 14.
missed. Callie, you basically like shove your ice dagger into her knee as she almost falls over and collapses to the ground, but wrenches her knee away from you and is able to sort of move towards one of the lanes that leads into the square where you guys have been fighting. It is your turn, Elio. What would you like to do?
How far away is she from everybody else?
30 feet.
If I were to draw a straight line of fire, how many of them could I catch?
None of them. None of them. Only, or rather, one. One, if you're.
But I couldn't draw a line between 2 of them, essentially?
Yes. Yeah, you could. 2 of them are standing adjacent to each other. The dwarf and the skeletal guy. The fighter. She ran off to a lane that's about 30 feet away from you. Looks like
Right.
she's heading for that lane.
Okay.
So maybe
With
I'm
the
misunderstanding
priest.
your question.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm wondering if should go for. Okay. I'm gonna step up to within uh 15 feet of the dwarf and the priest who are
Yeah.
standing next to each, and I'm going to as he sort of finishes casting his counter spell to block
Yep.
Callie's sleep spell,
Yeah.
I'm going to sort of slam the butt of my spear on the ground, and the sort of remaining spots of light that they see dancing around in their eyes from my last burst of light will kind of coalesce and start to flit around me as they almost look like little fairies, but like miniature
Yes.
suns with wings as I cast Spirit Guardians.
Yes, you do. Oh, this smells so sick. Yeah. So
And
like
so suddenly
within.
the whole area around me takes on
Yeah.
an almost like otherworldly glow. I'm gonna say it looks kind of like fireflies,
Yeah.
because it's something I kind of picked up in the summer, but it's also got this sort of like air of kind of a summer evening as the sun is setting.
Exactly. It's almost like you're evoking a portion of the summer court into existence around you. And yeah, the fireflies are everywhere. It is powerful magic that you're casting.
And it doesn't do anything yet, but when they start their turn there, they must make some saving throws. And
In-
actually, what it does so far is that their speed is halved while they're in the area.
The fanatic, the skeletal fanatic, has summoned the tentacle, the spectral tentacle that's been attacking you. It's his turn, so he fails his save. So what happens?
Okay, he's going to take some damage.
Yes, he will.
He will take 16 points of radiant damage.
Yeah, the fireflies immolate him. Boom! As he just goes up. The spectral tentacle dissipates, like just disappears, sort of like almost like a bunch of water falling or ooze falling to the ground and just like hitting the ground, but it's like ectoplasm as it just dissipates. And it is your turn, Alaron.
I'm gonna
I have
beeline
designated you two and Glimmer Dark to be unaffected by this.
Yes.
beeline towards that female and leap in the air and try to come down on her with my sword.
Go for it.
His first attack misses.
Yeah, she blocks it with both of her weapons. Oh, with a great effort, throwing you aside.
Unfortunately, second attack is a 16.
Which is not enough. Her armor class is in fact 17 as she knocks your other blow away. And you can see in her face now, it looks as if there is not fear, but almost like a resignation. Like today's the day, possibly? Like it's like this weird...
Impossible resignation.
Yeah, like today's
so
the day?
this is the day I die.
Yeah, right? That's
Maybe.
sort of the vibe that you're
Maybe.
getting. The dwarf goes. How much damage does he take?
Does he fail or succeed?
He fails.
Fails, so he takes 14 points of radiant damage.
Indeed, as he is immolated as well, as he falls to the ground. And with that, we'll end tonight's session. Thank you all so much for playing. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you're watching us on Twitch or on YouTube, really appreciate it. This is our 21st episode, Secrets of Hammerfast. We're going to continue.
Hammerfast is old enough to drink.
Yes, it is. Hey, look at that. Let's all raise one for Secrets of Hammerfast. So yummy. Cheers, cheers. That's so funny. Well, we hope to see you guys next time. We'll be taking a little bit of a break. We'll be back in about 2 weeks if you're watching us live. If not, you'll just get to binge all the sweet episodes and watch them one after the other. I have been your Dungeon Master. I'm Ken Breeze, a concierge DM in the New York City area. Hire me to run your games. Go to my website, burlingsbeard.com. I have some amazing players. They've been so great, and you'll see them again, I'm sure. But Kelsey, where can we find you if we want to catch up with what you're up to?
Sure. You can find me on my website, thearcanelibrary.com, and I'm also on Twitter and Instagram under that same name.
Awesome. Alaron, or rather Anthony, where can we catch up with you, my friend, if we want to see what you're up to?
Such powerful role playing.
You can catch me on Instagram at I'll Allow It.
Awesome. And Thomas, where can we catch up with you, my friend?
I'm mostly on Twitter at Soul of Twit, TWHIT.
Love
and,
it.
Here on the show, I guess.
I guess on this show now,
They
yeah, you
already
can
knew
sort of
that.
tell people that. Indeed. Find me on Twitter
Yeah,
too. I'm
that's
Berling's
useful.
Beard. We'd love to see all of you guys and gals and everything in between on the Tweet Zords. All right, we'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Bye. Bye.
Night,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. Bye. Everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.